My people, good morning. Good morning, my people. So, yesterday I was talking about education because of what Mr. Pastor Ize-Iyamu said. So, I quoted a man yesterday. The name of the man is Frederick Douglass. So, I'm here to do justice to that name. Okay? So, when I quote him yesterday, I didn't really do justice to that name. So I'm here to do justice to that name. Frederick Douglass. I personally call Frederick Douglass the Black General. I call him the Black General. He's a Black General. When people were considering whether the blacks can be able to govern themselves, because the narrative out there, especially with the white folks, is that black are minions, okay? They are children. They don't have the ability to govern themselves. So when the argument was going on in parliament, the person they use as a reference, the people that support the freedom of black as a slave, the person they use as a reference is Frederick Douglass. They say, why will you say black cannot govern themselves? What about Frederick Douglass? So it's not a man you just use that to push away. You have to tell his story, because by telling the story of Frederick Douglass, you will understand everything. Now, Frederick Douglass was born during slavery. Okay, was born during slavery in America. So what happened is that in America, it is illegal. It is illegal for people to teach black people how to read and write. It was illegal. Okay? And what is the reason? Why someone said we don't want to teach these people how to read and write? Because they don't want them to be wise. They don't want them to be educated, because they know that if they teach them how to read and write, they will know the secret. So that is the plans of people like Pastor Ize-Iyamu in Edo State. They want to keep Edo citizens in perpetual ignorance, so that they don't know what is going on, so that they are not enlightened. So, Frederick Douglass, as he was growing up, the wife, okay, so we have the slave master and the wife. When the slave master is gone, the wife will start teaching Frederick Douglass. Okay, the wife was teaching Frederick Douglass how to read and write through the Bible. That is how she was teaching Frederick Douglass how to read and write through the Bible. So the wife was caught and she was disciplined. So that if you are caught teaching a black man how to read and write in America, there's a serious punishment. So the wife of this woman I think she was beaten just for teaching Frederick Douglass how to read and write using the Bible. I think by the age of 12, slavery was abolished. I think by the age of 12, or I don't know, either it was abolished or Frederick Douglass was able to free himself from slavery. You understand? So that is Frederick Douglass' story. You understand? He became a very successful black man, and is the one that has this quote: knowledge, very important. Write this down. Knowledge make a man unfit to be a slave. Knowledge make a man unfit to be a slave. The Nigeria elite, I will say 99.9% of all of them have their children abroad to acquire knowledge. But they are destroying the educational system in Nigeria. So this topic, it touched me when Pastor Ize-Iyamu is encouraging the poor people's children that they should shun education, that education is not important. It's an idea, it's a strategy to keep the poor people's children in perpetual slavery. That's what this is all about. Now, I'm a big fan of a guy called Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki. Okay, Robert Kiyosaki is the author of the book. Let me just say, he's the author of the #1 financial book, according to New York bestseller. The #1 financial book, according to New York bestseller. Robert Kiyosaki is the author of the book. And the name of the book is called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That is the #1 financial book according to New York bestseller. Any book New York have said that this is a bestseller, you know, is the best in the world in terms of finance. And when I've read like over 11 of his book. Robert Kiyosaki, I've read about over 11 of his book. So Robert Kiyosaki is either a Chinese American or a Japanese American. In his book, he said there's nothing like racism. Okay, he said there's nothing like racism. He said they only have what they call economic reason. Not racism, economic reason. And he gave example in that book. When they were going to lift the ban, okay, you remember the president taking, if you watch, there's a video where the president of America take the black little girl to school. There were a lot of protests. Say black people must not go to school. That was the first black they take to school. There was a lot of white women that said that blacks should not go to school. Why? Because of competition. That is what Robert Kiyosaki is trying to explain in his book. That anything that make black to be educated, they will become competitive against the white people. So the job will not be difficult. Okay? So the blacks will not be competing with the white people in a like civil servant job, a job that require a lot of knowledge. So there was a lot of protests, especially with the white women in America, because they didn't want black children to compete with their children in any work. You understand? That is why they were strongly against blacks being educated in America. That is what we are seeing in Nigeria. That is what Mr. Ize-Iyamu stands for. Okay, it stands for to make sure that the poor people's children are not be able to educated so that they cannot compete with his own children in terms of governance in Edo State. Okay, in terms of getting the high-paying job. So they know what they are doing. They are not stupid. That's why Pastor Ize-Iyamu feel comfortable telling over 50 youths that education does not matter. Telling over 50 youths that education is not important, that they should not go to school, they should not worry about school. And these 50 youth, I will tell you now, majority of them will have children. Maybe they will tell their children will go and meet them that say, Papa, give me money for school fees. Papa, give me money for reader. They will tell their children, no. Pastor Ize-Iyamu says school is not important. Whereas Pastor Ize-Iyamu is sending the children to the best schools in the world, one of the best schools in the world. Okay, so it is time we poor people we use our common sense. Okay, no, we cannot solve our problem by protesting, obedient. No. Education is one of the key that we will use to solve our problem. In the UK, we have the same issue. Okay, in the UK, the word landlord. So most of the landlords were politicians. Okay, they make most poor people and their family to work in their land and to pay a lot of money. Do you know what the poor people did? The poor people will spend their last kobo to educate their children. So by educating their children now start getting into political offices, becoming judges, okay, becoming lawyers. So once their children start getting in those high positions, most of the laws in the UK was changed to benefit the poor. So the same ideology, the same blueprint we must use in Nigeria. If we want to fight the elite in Nigeria, it is incumbent on us to make education a priority for our children. You understand? Look at the Prime Minister of UK today. The father was a bus driver. The father was a bus driver. They call it double bus, like 2K driver in Edo State. But he spent his last penny to educate the son. I think the father is from India or Pakistan. That he spent the last money to educate that his son in school. Today, the son is now the Prime Minister of UK. You don't become a Prime Minister of UK if you are not a graduate, if you are not educated. You don't become the Prime Minister of UK if you are Okpebolo. You understand? So I'm advising you, whether you are a market woman, whether you are a bus driver, whether you are whatever you do, make sure the education of your children are paramount to you. Make sure the education of your children is extremely important to you. Okay? These people have successfully keep you below them because they are educated more than you. They are highlighting more than you. But you can change that for your children by making sure that your children does not go through the suffering you go through. So that your children tomorrow can become the prime minister or the president of Nigeria, the governor of Nigeria, or they can hold top position. And to be able to hold this top position, education is very important. You understand? The Pastor Ize-Iyamu have come to disgrace himself. He has come because they say what's come out of a man's mouth is what he believed in his heart. That was not a fluke. Okay, most of this elite, they deliberately, listen to that word, they deliberately and intentionally are making sure that the poor children does not access education. And you that I'm talking to now, that is not aware of what I'm saying, we make sure that does not happen to your children. So they say, what is in the man's heart come out from his mouth. That was not a mistake. Okay? That thing Pastor Ize-Iyamu said was not a mistake. It's the mindset of, I would say, 99.9% of political leaders in Nigeria. Okay? Their goal is to frustrate you, frustrate your children, so that your children cannot acquire quality education. Because they know that if your children acquire quality education, they will become competitive in the job market against their own children. That's what they are preventing. Okay? Now, let me round it up with my whole personal story. Because it's very important. We have to tell each other the truth. You see, when you are protesting bad governments are caused. I don't really join people to do all this protest because I know the real issue that is affecting us. Okay? I was born in Ogbe. The way Tony Kabaka is born in Ogbe. Okay? I was born in Olagwe Street. Okay? Olagwe Street. Off Obakawaye Street. I was born in Olagwe Street. Okay? I went to Oka Primary School. That's where I went to school. My school is during my time that they break melon. They give teacher. I didn't study anything in primary school. Okay? Today, I can remember that half of the people I went to primary school with, right? If I will say 80% are dead or 70% are dead, I know what I'm talking about. It's because my mom said, no, my son, he took me from that public school and put me in Travis Christian College. Said, I will put my son in this private school so that he can develop his mind. That's why I'm still here today. That's why I'm talking to you. Because education gives me other options. Education make me to go and study accounting. I become an accountant. I have other options. I have the ability to get other job. But other children was unfortunate. Because their mom could not afford, or their parents could not afford to put them in a good school where they will get quality education. I can even use my half brothers to give example. 2 of my half brothers were killed violently. Violently. You understand? It may be their own cause, it may not be their own cause. But because of the system, okay, if you're an Agberu, especially in Edo State, you have no option. If you are trying to feed your family, if you are trying to survive, you must engage in violence. And if you look at the Agberu system, especially in Edo State, it's only a few people that are successful. People like Kabaka, that celebrate 1 billion. Okay? People like the other guy that built hotel the other day. But it's very rare for ordinary me and you to be successful in that Agberu system. You understand? So those my half-brother, they have no other option to have access to money because they have to be in motor park. Because their parents could not afford to. My dad was not even there to pay school fees, but their mother can't afford to send them to a private school where they will get quality education. You understand? So because of that, they have only one option in life, to be violence, and they were killed through violence. Okay, that my elder brother, half brother, was a Bobizwa boy. Bobizwa was a boy to Bobizwa. When he was killed violently through plank in one of the motor park, it was Bobizwa that paid for his burial. Okay, it was Bobizwa that paid for his burial. That my other half brother was driving bus. He was killed violently with a gun. You understand? I shared my story the other day. I said I was very close to become a court member. Just imagine if I was still within the system. The violence in the environment could have taken my life, because you need to be violent to get to the top. Mr. Albert Obase said something. He said before Ochomole will recognize you, will recognize you, you must show your body. Okay, you must show your body of serious injury. You must be a very violent person, like Abaka. Like, this other name is escaping me. The other guy that bought hotel the last time. You understand? You must be very violent. You understand? Most of the people that grow up in that environment, that Ogbe environment, Ogida environment, that are street people that didn't have the opportunity to acquire education like me, most of them die very young. If they don't die very young, they will become very poor. They will become very poor. You understand? The point I'm trying to make to you guys now is that it's a systematic project, a plan to keep you uneducated. It's a systematic, it's plan, it's deliberate, it is intentional. Okay? They want to keep you uneducated. You understand? So my advice to those 50 people in that video, please do yourself a favor. Okay, I was in Benin the last time. There's a lot of adult education in different parts of the city. Go and receive adult education so that it can open your eye from ignorance, so that you can see other options for your life. Okay, if you don't even care about your own life, what about your children's life? So that you can see other options for your own life, so that you can improve your own life, because education gives you option. Okay, it makes you to see different ways of making money. That life is not all about violence. Life is not all about tigers and lions. You understand? Because you people don't know anything else except violence and killing, except stealing ballot paper. You understand? That's why most of you don't survive. That's why most of you don't live up to 40. But if you are educated, any kind of education, and you live that violent environment, you have a more chance. You have more prospect of helping your own self, helping your family, and helping your generation, your next generation. Okay? So this topic is very important. I thought I should drive down to settle down to talk about this education, because it is crucial. Okay? I think it's Nelson Mandela that said it. He said education is what will lift the poor man out of poverty. And that is a fact. And that is what I came to stand for. So I'm going to end this video with a quote again from Frederick Douglass. He said, knowledge make a man unfit to be a slave. My name is Victor Vince. I'm a life coach. I'm a business coach. I'm a financial literacy teacher. And I'm also an executive life coach, which is another word for leadership teacher. Thanks for watching, and do have a productive day. Bye for now.